Hello, I'm Jon Manning, the founder and managing director of PricingProphets.com, and I'm going to count down the top 10 things every accountant and their clients should know about pricing. Number 10, don't overcomplicate your pricing. Make your products easy to buy by avoiding complex algorithms and formulas like this. Use them if you have to, but in the back end, don't burden your customers with them. Apple's iTunes pricing can be described as why not pricing. You hear a song on the radio, you want it on your iPod or your iPhone, well, it's only $1.99 in the iTunes store. Why not buy it? And pricing is increasingly transferable from one industry to another. So why reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? Learn from the mistakes that somebody else has made. If your customers are airline passengers, they'll understand airline-style revenue management and dynamic pricing. Airlines themselves have taken to the humble pub happy hour and sold their distressed inventory online between 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And Google's AdWords-style pay-per-performance pricing is now moving into drugs and pharmaceuticals. Number 9. Use discounting strategically. There are only two words you need to keep in mind when it comes to discounting: give and get. If you're going to give someone a cheaper price, then get something in return. This photo illustrates the theory magnificently. If someone wants a car for half price, give them half the car. But it doesn't illustrate the practicalities, as half a car is of no value to anyone. Remember, there is no bank in the world that accepts a deposit of market share or page views or unique visitors. Yes, you can buy market share at the expense of revenue, profit, or both, but discounting heavily won't pay your bills. Give discounts where discounts are due and get something in return, be it customer loyalty, larger volume of sales, new or repeat customers, or buyers of distressed inventory. And make your discounts time-banded and their timing unpredictable, something a lot of retailers don't adhere to. Number 8. Price wars do make sense, but sometimes. The strategic use of discounts should not extend to price wars except in 3 situations where a price war may make sense. 1. Where you have a distinct cost advantage over a competitor. So your competitor has a cost disadvantage whereby if they sell more volume at a lower price, they're going to be financially disadvantaged. Number 2, where you can pick up a large volume of customers by shaking up a market or an industry a bit, as Telstra, an Australian telco, did in the broadband price war of 2004. And the third is where a price war may help you win a format war. Think Blu-ray versus HD DVD recently. The backer of the former, Sony, was never going to lose this war, having previously lost the VHS versus Betamax war years earlier. Number 7. Sensitise customers to value, not costs. By some estimates, 70 to 80% of companies are using an inappropriate pricing methodology known as cost-plus pricing. Customers, regardless of whether they are B2B or B2C, do not buy your product because of what it costs you to produce it. They purchase it because of the value they receive from you. Number 6. Consider behavioural economics. The difference between what customers rationally say they will do and what they irrationally do is now becoming mainstream thanks to behavioural economics. Behavioural economics is a series of heuristics or behaviours which you can apply to acquire customers, generate more sales, or segment your market, just to name a few. These heuristics include Goldilocks pricing. Indecisive customers will gravitate towards the middle product in a product ladder because it's not too large or not too small. Giving discounts rather than surcharges, like cinemas do on Tuesday nights rather than surcharging on Friday or Saturday nights. Nudge or recommend the most appropriate product for your customers, not the one that you necessarily want to sell them, as customers are biased towards the default option. Tell customers what your most popular products or best sellers are so they can jump on the bandwagon. Use price points that end in 0 to convey quality and prices ending in 9s to convey a bargain. And people are biased towards rewards in the present and at the expense of rewards in the future, and this will have a big implication on the success or otherwise of your loyalty initiatives. Number 5, think about getting prices as well as the setting of prices. You can spend a lot of time working out what price to charge, monetizing this and monetizing that, but at the end of the day, if you can't get the price you've set, that effort may all be in vain. Customers will buy from you or more from you if you can make it easy for them to do so. Can your customers afford expensive setup fees or quarterly installments? Review your terms and conditions and make it easier for customers to part with their money. When making a price change, think of how much it costs you to make that price change. What does it cost to change prices on your website, in your marketing collateral, your rate cards, or your price lists, in your systems? The cost of writing to all your customers, as well as the management time spent working out what the new prices will be. Also ask yourself if you're changing the right prices. If all your customers are buying on deals or discounts, changing the list price isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to review your discount structure, not your list prices. Number 4, pricing models have life cycles. You've probably heard or studied the product life cycle concept, where products move through the stages of development and infancy, growth, maturity, and decline. Pricing models also have life cycles. The pricing model that works yesterday or today may not be the pricing model that works tomorrow. This is particularly true in the online world. Some of the most established, high-profile websites are reaching the maturity phase of their current pricing model and are searching for a replacement. One of my clients changed pricing models a couple of years ago and told every single customer why. The old model was unprofitable, and she would understand if the client chose to go elsewhere. Not one customer left, thanks to a well-crafted pricing communication strategy. What's this got to do with an aircraft jet engine? Well, Rolls-Royce, Pratt & Whitney and the others used to sell engines as a good to their airline customers. They now rent them out to the airlines on power-by-the-hour contracts. Think about that. A good now being sold as a service and the airline only paying for that service when the aircraft is earning revenue for them. It's a great model. Number 3, pricing advice can be affordable, accessible, timely and egalitarian. Most people in business frequently talk to their accountant and their lawyer, but why don't they talk to a pricing expert? Often because they don't know we exist, never mind the fact that there are alternatives to the traditional cost-plus approach to pricing. Pricing research and dedicated pricing staff are cost prohibitive for all but the largest companies, and pricing conferences, workshops and books focus on the general, not the specifics you want answers for. So many of today's challenges and problems are now being solved online, so we asked ourselves, why not pricing problems? And set about building the PricingProphets platform. You can upload your pricing challenge yourself, or we'll happily assist you. We send it to the most relevant experts, all of whom we verified as experts in their field. Then in about 7 days' time, log into your secure PricingProphets.com workbench and see what the expert had to say about your pricing challenge. Number 2, pricing is a process, not a project. You don't have to restrict price changes to once a year. Large annual price increases provide an impetus for customers to switch. We are living in very turbulent times and market conditions can change overnight, for the better or the worse. Customers will much prefer quarterly 1.25% price increases rather than an annual 5% increase. One company I know of hadn't changed their prices for 17 years. At a minimum, have some sort of structured approach to pricing, a committee or a council that meets frequently or as required, with a focus on execution, review and fine-tuning of prices both up and down. That brings us to number 1, and there is no such thing as a pricing laboratory. There is no accurate way of experimenting with prices, and even if you do test or research prices, would you buy this for $49.95? What customers say and what customers do will be two completely different things. Find a way to test or experiment with prices in a controlled environment. Use one of your stores, one of your products, or one of your sales channels. So there you have it. 10 things every accountant and their client should know about pricing. If you've got any questions about any of the items raised in this presentation, feel free to contact us at PricingProphets.com.